Hello friends, welcome to another wave of judgment of houses in a horoscope. Well, in this wave, I would be discussing about the house lord and significator for the 7th house for female horoscope. Well, as you know that significator in a female horoscope for marriage for the 7th house becomes Jupiter. So be it any ascendant, Jupiter becomes of most importance. Jupiter has the highest importance if Jupiter is in affliction or Jupiter goes to the bad houses, and also if 7th lord, the house which governs marriage, if that house is afflicted, then definitely there will be delay in marriage, then there can be denial of marriage, or there can be a relationship which is not very healthy. So let's get on to a few examples here. Let's say for example, I would be taking a Libra ascendant horoscope basically. So okay, let's assume that this is a female horoscope chart, and the 7th lord Mars is posited in the 7th house itself. So as Mars already owns the Aries sign, this Mars is posited in its own house. This gives a lot of strength to the 7th house. So there is definitely no denial of marriage here. Definitely the girl will get married at a very right age. And this house, basically the lord of a Kendra, this Mars, is posited in its own sign. So this is a very positive indication here. So let's take another example. For example, yes, Mars goes to the 6th house. Now the 7th lord, the house lord now goes to the 6th house. Now this is going in the 12th house from its own sign. This becomes the 12th house from this. If we count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So this Mars is going 12th from its own house. This is not a very good indication. If a planet is going in 12th from its own sign, that is not a very good indication. So this is the house of enemies. So this is the house of unnecessary struggle in life. So if the lord of the 7th house, the house which governs a husband for a female chart, now this is going to the 6th house. So there can be a lot of conflicts with the husband here. There can be a delay in marriage as well. So if the 7th lord is going into the 6th house, this is not a very good position. I'll take it with another example. Okay, let's say if Mars, the lord of the 7th house, is posited in the 5th house. Now 5th house is a trine house. This is a very good house as considered in Vedic Astrology. But although this Mars is in the sign of Saturn, not a very positive sign for Mars, but though it is in trine, so this also helps. Now this house also represents your love affairs. So the marriage can also take place. It is quite possible that this girl may marry a person of her own choice. She would know the person before getting married to that person. So it is quite a possibility that this girl may marry, she may have an affair with the person she marries. So I'll take one more example. Okay. So let's see here, the Mars has gone into the 12th house. Now this is a trick house. This is an evil house where Mars has where Mars is posited basically. The 7th Lord has gone into the 12th house. It has gone into the 6th from its own house, which is again not a very good sign. Going in a 6th house from its own sign is not a very healthy sign. So the 12th house is the house of basically it's not a very good house. It shows expenditure, it shows separative tendencies as well. So if the 7th Lord has gone to the 12th house, there can again be delay in marriage. There can be definitely not denial, because Mars is giving the special 8th aspect to its own house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Remember the 8th aspect, the 8th special aspect of Mars, which already I have discussed in one of my previous videos. So this Mars is aspecting its own house, so it will protect the marriage. Although there can be delay in marriage, or maybe there can be a few conflicts, few conflicts may arise post marriage in the relationship, but definitely this house is protected, so there is no denial here. So Mars, although it is not very good here, but it still protects the house. So this is the house lord we are talking about, the house and the house lord. Now we will go to the significator. We will discuss the significator of marriage for female horoscopy. Now Jupiter becomes the significator. So let's take few examples for Jupiter. Okay, now it is the same chart. Now in this case, Jupiter is posited in the 8th house. Now 8th house is again a trick house. It is not a very good house, it is an evil house. So Jupiter here is not in a very good condition here. So Jupiter is not very healthy here. Being in the 8th house, it is not doing quite good for being a significator of the 7th house in female horoscopy. Let's take this further. For example, if the 7th house lord Mars is posited in the 6th house, and at the same time the significator of the 7th house, Jupiter, it's posited in the 8th house. Now this becomes very bad for the 7th house. Definitely there can be a lot of delay in the marriage. So they also might enter into a divorce, but definitely the other factors need to be taken into consideration. But this is not doing good justice to the 7th house. If the 7th lord of the 7th house Mars was in the 6th house and the significator is also in the 8th house, then definitely there will be issues pertaining to the marriage. I'll take another example for Jupiter. Now let's see. In this case, the significator of the 7th house, Jupiter, is posited in the 6th house. It is not very good again. It is in one of the evil houses, but Jupiter is in its own sign. Now if this Jupiter is very strong, because it is in its own sign. Now own sign protects its own planet. It's like if a person is sitting in his own house, so everybody feels very comfortable in their own house, at their own home. That is the same scenario here. Jupiter is in its own sign, own house, so it makes it quite strong. So this Jupiter will definitely work well. Let's take another example. Although this Jupiter is in one of the 4 kendras. The kendras I have already discussed. The 1st house, the 4th house, the 7th house and the 10th house. These are kendras, these are good. But this Jupiter is debilitated. This Jupiter is in debilitation sign, the Capricorn sign. So this Jupiter is very weak. Now definitely if this, being the significator of 7th house, this Jupiter is debilitated, although it is in a kendra, but this is going to give a dent on the marriage. There could be a delay, there could be troubles after the marriage, or something else regarding the marriage. But definitely there is some issue here if we are looking at a debilitated Jupiter, even though in kendra. I'll take one more example for this. Let's say if Jupiter was in the 11th house. Now 11th house is an Upche house. This house is a house of growth. So Jupiter here is well placed. It is in a house of growth, and what best thing here is the special aspect of Jupiter. Now Jupiter has the special aspect, the 5th and the 9th aspect. So this Jupiter is giving a 9th aspect to the 7th house. So being its own significator, the planet is aspecting the same house it signifies. Now Jupiter is aspecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Jupiter is aspecting the 7th house. This will definitely protect this house. So this condition for Jupiter is very, very good. So definitely the marriage will be very happy. It will take its own course in time when it has to be happen. And but there are other factors to be considered. The rest of the planets, if there is malefic influence on the 7th house, regardless of Jupiter being here, then there can be other issues. And if there is benefic influence on this house, then definitely this will do the job. So this would be all in this episode of Judgment of Houses in a Horoscope. I hope you like my video. If you have any doubts, kindly mail me or leave a comment below in the section.